Hey y'all, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so delighted to be here with you guys. If you are here live, go ahead and tell me where you are streaming in from. I want to know your name, where you are in the world. And same thing if you guys are watching the replay. Just post in the comments. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. What is your business? What are you working on? Why are you here? Hi, Cassandra. So nice to see you and connect with you here on this platform. Great to have you here. So welcome. We are going to collaborate together to fall in love with sales. Sales is truly one of my favorite topics of conversation and study. It's one of my favorite activities. And it was not always. Some of you guys know this about me, that I didn't even sell Girl Scout cookies when I was growing up. So my arrival into sales was quite late. I was at 35 at least when I started. So I wasn't always in love with sales, and I fell in love with sales. Sales wooed me and seduced me, and it's now one of my most beloved practices. So I'm really excited to share this with you, because if you want to build a successful business, if you want to have multiple six-figure revenue or seven-figure revenue, which is what I teach, you got to have consistent sales. You got to have steady sales, and you got to be masterful at sales. And in order to develop the capacity to be steady, consistent, and masterful, you kind of got to love it, right? Like if you're hating sales or resisting sales or afraid of sales, it's just not going to line up in a way that really works for you. And so that is the purpose of this call today. I'm really excited to connect with you about this. So I want you to just think for a second about what it feels like to be in love. What does it feel like when you fall in love, right? It's like exciting, and there's this sense of possibility, and it's very fresh and alive, right? That in love feeling has so much dopamine and like good juices coming through. So just like feel that. Forget about what like the subject of your love. Just remind yourself what that love feels like. Can you do that? And if it helps you, post in the comments like who or what makes you feel that way. Maybe it's a pet or a person or a place. Like what just lights you up? The love just flows. It's effortless. You're just like, yes. So much goodness about this thing, this person, this experience. And welcome. I'm seeing you guys come in on the chat. It's so nice to see you and know where you're coming from. Yeah, isn't it amazing to be in a physical body, listen to music, dance, your nieces, your babies, right? So that quality, just remember, like that's your new baseline. That's your reference point that you're seeking to match. I'm not asking you to force this, okay? Don't like mush your beloved into something that it's not, okay? But just recognize that that's the goal. Right? If I could go back in time and whisper messages to my new entrepreneurial self, this is the number one thing I would tell myself. Because when I first started doing sales, I just had to force myself through it. It was like ripping the Band-Aid off. I was so uncomfortable. And I would just like close my eyes, dial the number, pick up the phone, and like, it was kind of like that, like forcing myself into it. And if I could just go back and remind myself like, hey, Jess, like the sweet spot is so much closer than you realize. And it starts on the inside. It starts with just the energy that you're bringing into the conversation. So before you pick up that phone, before you dial, just connect to excitement, connect to sweetness, connect to love, connect to delight, connect to life force, connect to generosity, connect to enthusiasm. And then make the call. And here's the truth. When I started to practice that thing, when I started to hold myself to a higher standard internally around how I was feeling when I had a sales conversation, that is actually what had me fall in love with sales. Because up until that point, I really had it. I had the belief that my effort, my self-sacrifice, my hard work would do all the muscle for me. And so it's such a gift to realize that actually muscle only gets you so far, force only gets you so far, hard work only gets you so far. I'm not undervaluing that, okay? Action is essential. But like, in other words, me making sales feel hard wasn't going to make them more effective. In fact, when it comes to sales, if you're making it hard, it's going to be less effective. Sales, when you're in the pocket, when you're in the sweet spot of generosity, service, love, devotion, excitement, enthusiasm, energy, right? When you're really alive, that's when your sale is going to actually land. Whether the person says yes or no, they're going to leave that call feeling fantastic about you and what you do in the world. They're going to want to refer you because they feel you at your best, right? Give me some thumbs up if this is making sense and you're connecting with this. Like, give that. I want to see your engagement here. And keep up in the chat. Like, I'm reading everything you're saying, so keep engaging there. That's super helpful to me and everybody else here. So let's just look at the truth. What stops you from falling in love with sales? I would love to actually hear a little of your comments. I just had to review Becca's comment because it had a little curse word in there, but I like it. So yes, fear of rejection, belief about money, or I'm guessing scarcity, shame, stress, worrying about bothering people. So normal, guys. So here's the thing. I'm going to approach this from a very logical standpoint for a minute. If you want an excuse to not make sales calls, these are great excuses, right? Like if you want your ultimate reality to be that you don't make sales calls, then use all of these to stop you. They're so effective. Okay? But if you know that you're going to eventually make the sales call, cut out all of that hard struggle and envision how you want the sale to actually feel to you and to the person that you're talking to. So that doesn't mean that you swipe your fear of rejection under the rug. That's a real thing. Okay, I want to acknowledge and affirm that's normal. There's no problem with that. I just want you to see that it's like a hammer. Fear of rejection is a tool that your subconscious can use to get you to not make the sale. If you know that you're going to make the sales you're going to have the sales conversation no matter what, then that particular tool is not so necessary, right? You don't need a hammer to use a computer. In fact, a hammer and this laptop, not such a good combo, right? If I'm like trying to use the hammer to like push the buttons, that would be super strange. I wish I had a hammer to demonstrate, right? That's not really a logical approach. So I want you to use your intellect here, involve your intellect to help you make sense of this. So, and I'll just go through each one of these things that you're saying. So money beliefs. And maybe Karen, you can just name like, what is it about the money beliefs that has you not fall in love with sales? Tell me more about that. Fear of rejection. Oh my God, I think this is so common. And really the truth of this is also why I fell in love with sales, is that I honestly had no idea before I started a business that I had any codependency in my life. It's laughable because I was codependent almost everywhere. I was totally addicted to people's approval. I wanted everyone to like me. I was pretty good at getting people to like me, whether they were 14-year-old math students in my algebra class when I was a math teacher, or my 65-year-old math teachers who were so much older than me, but I was coaching them, right? Like I was good at navigating that and getting people to like me. And nothing wrong with people liking you, right? But for me, it interrupted my service, right? If someone didn't like me, I would stop. And that's the most common thing that I see in sales conversations, is that not even if someone actually doesn't like you, but if you're afraid that someone doesn't like you, or if you're afraid that someone won't like you if you call them or if you propose to them, then you just interrupt. And when you interrupt your service, you can't help anybody, right? So the fear of rejection is a real feeling experience. It's the hammer with the laptop, right? It doesn't actually get you where you want to go. So my suggestion for this is twofold, right? There's like the specific thing there, and then there's the principle of this training today. So specifically, you can look at the truth of your fear of rejection, like with the specific person that you're thinking to call. And just unpack it, talk to some of you guys know this, like your inner stegosaurus, your like inner child, and talk with them about how they're going to be okay and you're going to love them no matter what, whatever. But you can also use this as a devotional practice. Like, I am afraid of rejection. I may very well get rejected, and I'm here to grow. I'm here to serve, and I'm here to, as I grow and serve, dismantle my codependency so that I can liberate everyone in my life, liberate everyone to have exactly their experience. And so even though I'm terrified of rejection, and even though I don't want to experience rejection, I'm going to say yes to the possibility that I will, as an act of devotion, as an act of service. That's how I'm going to fall in love with sales, by literally excavating my own heart, bringing my own full open heart to this process. Now, I just want to like time out for a second, because everything that I'm saying is all behind the scenes. None of this is what you're sharing with your potential client or customer, right? This is all just between you and me, okay? You guys feeling me? You with this? Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. Comment if this is resonating. Let me know where this is landing. So I love what you guys are saying. Okay, so shame. Becca, can you say more, like shame about what? Everyday stressors. Same thing, Allison. Like what? How does the stress stop you? Cassandra, the worry about bothering people. I think this is the same thing that I was just talking about. Tell me if that lands with you. Like the fear of bothering people is really about being afraid that they won't like you, being afraid that they'll say nasty things about you, something like that. Or just, that's the thing that's so funny about it, is that most of the time we're not even worried that they'll say nasty things. We're just worried that they'll feel nasty things. We're just worried that they won't feel 100% love toward us. Here's something else that might help you with this, right? We think, our subconscious tells us that we're choosing between having someone like us or not having someone like us. And that making a sales call puts those two things like on opposite sides of the battlefield. Like one of those is going to happen. And I suggest that you replace that with, I can be concerned with whether or not someone likes me or not. Like, in other words, those two options, being concerned about either one is one option. If you do that, you have to apologize and compromise and manipulate and coerce and hide and do all kinds of negotiation to avoid, right, the negative possibilities. And the alternative is unapologetic, loving, devotional service. Like that you are here to help people and you're going to be unconditional about it. And some people want the help and some people will not. And some people will love the help and some people will fuss, right? I think about my experience as a high school math teacher, which I did that for 12 years. Those kids were not happy every single moment of math class. I mean, think about your own math class experience. I don't think anyone is happy and liking every moment of math class. As a math teacher, if my whole focus in my business, in my approach to teaching was to have those kids like me, we would have played basketball all day, right? Like we would never have done math. They basically didn't want to do math ever. So there is always the demand on you as a servant of growth, as someone who is here to help others, to serve others. If that's your mission and I would argue that it's all of our mission. If that's your mission, you got to be willing to let people have their feelings and get out of, that's not really any of your business, right? So let people like you, let people not like you. The truth is most of the time it's not about you anyway. All right. Tiago, not knowing what to say. I love this. This just came up in a coaching call that I had with a client yesterday. So just try this on, Tiago, because I actually think this is spot on for you. I know Tiago a little bit and know his skill set. So just decide in this moment that you always know what to say. The resource is always there. So what this does is that if you have a moment in a sales conversation where you actually are like, I'm not sure what comes next. If you put the lens on it that you always know what to say, if you just choose that confidence and that ease, right? Then in a moment when there's nothing that wants to come through, then you're silent. You're thinking, you're processing, you're integrating, you're pausing. Maybe you're giving them space, right? Like trust that. I think that's a really, really potent message for you. Great. Great. Okay, this is great. So being firm with your price, Dorte's question, this is also really common. And we can look at some other point, maybe I'll do a video on this because I think it's such a common issue. People change their price, they lower their price because of another kind of codependency, because they're afraid that people will say no. It's another cloak for the fear of rejection. So you've got to choose your price when you're not in a sales conversation so that you know it, you've processed it, you've done the math, you know that that number will cover your expenses, will make it possible for you to sustain the work, will leave you feeling joyful and rejuvenated at the end of work rather than feeling depleted and resentful, right? You choose the price based on that, and then you just stick to it. Make that like a non-emotional thing, like you're just passing the salt. I don't have salt, but pretend this is salt. Like, hey, this is the price. No biggie. So yes, I love that it's making sense. Great. Stress paralyzes me at times. Okay. So stress about what? Like, is it stress that you're too busy to make time to make the sales conversations happen? Or is it stress about what you think will happen in the sales conversation? They don't have the money. Betsy, everybody has the money. Everybody has the money. What they don't all have is the desire or the urgency, right? Like we're working on 8 billion people on the planet. Not all of them want to watch this YouTube video, right? It's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to talk about sales on a Wednesday afternoon. That's okay. I'm just here for the people who want it. And what I know about my service and what I know 100% about each of your services is that if the person that you are in a sales conversation with wants the change that you can help them create, they'll find the money. And more than that, the truth is that the money is already here. They wouldn't even be talking to you about the program that you're offering them at the price point that you're selling if they didn't have access to those financial resources. That doesn't mean that they can look at their bank account and see it, although sometimes that happens. But it's essential that you go into the conversation knowing that you're not here to try to help someone figure out where to create money. I mean, unless that's part of your business. Like I teach people how to make money, so I can do that with my clients before and during working with them. But if that's not your service, this is really none of your business. Your job is to help them find the truth of their own desire. And if their desire is to change and you can help them with that change, your job is to trust that they will find the money. And that just by saying yes to doing the work with you, that the money will show itself to them. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this happen. Literally 100% of my clients find the money. Whether it's $1,000 or 6 figures, they find the money. And it's not hard. In fact, when things line up and the money comes in, they're like, sometimes they don't even realize that it's happened because it's so easy that they're like, and I'm naming this in part because it is something that, like, as you experience it more, you will be able to trust more. So right? For now, if you haven't experienced that, you do have to kind of go in there with some faith that like you're going to talk to the people who do have the money. You're going to talk to the people who do want to spend that money. And trust God, the universe, your own attraction to call in the people that are ready to invest in themselves at the level that you are inviting them to. Yep. You guys are great. I think you're right. So what's interesting is that when we decided what the topic of today's YouTube live was going to be, we had two names. One was fall the fuck in love with sales. And I think we're doing a great job talking about that. The other, and we were thinking of it as like a different topic, was codependency in sales and how to dismantle it. But what I'm noticing in our conversation very like currently is that they are the same thing. You dismantle your codependency by falling in love with sales. And you fall in love with sales by dismantling your codependency. They are one and the same. So great, great, great job. All right, let's shift a little bit to questions. You guys are kind of already throwing your questions in, but I just want to make that explicit. I want to see if there are any concrete questions. We'll spend another like 9 minutes or so. Whatever questions you've got about sales, anything that we're talking about, or other things that are coming up, I'm very open to talking about sales. So yes, so Tanya just reflected what you just said a bit ago, our willingness as teachers and healers to be healed out loud and to offer that healing to others by dealing with our fears of rejection. Spot on. That's devotion, right? Spiritual life, spiritual practice, transformational life, personal development. These things are not like, oh, we're all bliss all the time, like namaste. It's like fierce fire on the inside. That's the whole point. And we're willing to go there because we know there's something greater, wanting to move through us, holding us in that. Service is that thing, loving service. I just, it's so simple. It's almost, you know, sometimes our subconsciouses or our egos want to complicate it, make it more difficult. Yep, through a disposition of devotion. Exactly, Tanya. Setting the little self aside so the real self can emerge. And I like to talk about that little self like, it's like in the car, right? We're releasing all these car videos right now, these different car metaphors. And one of them is about really bringing all the parts in, like nobody has to get kicked out. If it's a true part of you, it belongs there. So little self can be with you. It just didn't need to be driving the car. Yes. Oh, Stephanie, this is so good. Letting other people have the dignity of their choices and their process. I think that's fantastic, right? So this is really important. If you look at the codependency piece, when you are attached, when you are more attached to someone telling you yes so that you can feel good or meet your financial goal or whatever, you are not actually in service to them. You're focused on yourself. You're being selfish. You're being greedy. And I don't mean that in any judgmental way. We're all selfish and greedy sometimes. So it's not like, this is very human. Don't make that wrong. And it's not really what you're here for. I know that. I know that that's not why you're getting on the sales conversation. That's your unconscious. That's your small self. That's your ego. So remind yourself that you're here to serve this person in front of you with respect, truth, love. And that will mean that you're willing to speak the truth to them, whether it is comfortable for them or not. And it also means that you're not attached to the outcome of their choices. That's really important. I mean, that's kind of like spirituality 101, right? Like the Bhagavad Gita teaches this, like renounce the fruit of your actions. It's none of your business whether or not they want to change. It's none of your business whether or not they want to get support from you. It's your business, literally, it is your business if they want the change that you facilitate. And the whole purpose of a sales conversation is to just get clear about that. That's real important, Stephanie. Thank you. Tiago, I'm so curious what's scary for you. Becca, I love this idea. Like, go get awkward. Part of what's good about going to networking events, whether the networking is useful or not, because they are awkward. And so then you get comfortable being awkward. Talk to strangers, right? Interact with people when you go to the grocery store. Just like build that in. It will build your resilience around sales conversations. All right, question. How do I help people see or hear what I'm offering such that they can be a clear yes or no? So short answer to that, Tanya, is first of all, really get clear yourself that you have that clarity. If you're clear, other people will be clear. The second thing is that when you have a sales conversation, your job is to help them articulate what it is that they want in their life. What is it that they want to change? And to unpack why it's not, right? So that they have understanding that, like, basically it's action based. It's a cause and effect, right? Like if they go this way, they will get this result. If they go this way, they will get this result. Your job is to help them articulate, this is what I want, and here's the cause of that. And this is what I don't want, and here's the cause of that. And so therefore, I'm going to choose this. Or I want to choose this, but I'm so fucking terrified. I don't know if I can choose this. And that's hard to really look at. But then at least they're consciously making that choice, right? And this is what I teach, Tanya, also. So if you want more on that, I'm happy to give you more. Of course, in these YouTube videos, we're going to be really focusing on sales over the next few months. So just stay tuned to the YouTube channel, sign up for the newsletter. If you're interested in exploring doing an online course or anything like that with me, let me know. Yay, Leah, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for your encouragement. I was on Leah Gervais' podcast just last week, Urban 20-something. She is amazing. She does such beautiful work. I'm so inspired by her. Great. Okay, my shame comes when I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to feel the beauty of in love that we talked about earlier. That's so tender. That is the freedom. That's the opposite of codependency, right? When you know that you deserve to feel good and in love and in devotion no matter what anyone else is feeling. And one of the best ways to give that freedom to the people in your life is by claiming that freedom for yourself. I choose to feel good. I choose to feel joy. I choose to feel love. And it's got nothing to do with you. You are free to be angry, upset, blaming, judging, whatever you want. I am responsible for my joy and my love. That's it, period. So I know how tender that one is, Becca, and it's just lean in, you know? That's the practice, that's the work. It's not a one-off. Build a relationship with ease, Becca. Like fall in love with ease. That's another piece. Like it's almost like you've got struggle as a lover and they're like good at making you come or something. So you don't want to give them up, but they're abusive and they never show up when you want them and you're right. It's not really functional. And then there's ease over here and you just don't know it very well. So it feels a little scary because you haven't brought ease to bed with you yet. But little do you know that ease is like the master of multiple orgasms and you can have ease whenever you want. They'll literally just like be your servant in your home, in your life, in your meditations and in your bedroom. Like they're there to please you. So like play with looking at your feelings as partners, as like life partners, right? And who do you choose to surround yourself with? This is a really good one. I love that question. Leah asked, do you have thoughts about selling too much? Little helicopter weigh in. I'm not even sure what that means. So I think like short answer is like, that's not possible. But I shouldn't say it, like the balance is a real, I wouldn't say that that's a value. Balance is a value. So, you know, if you are feeling juicy and in love, it can't be too much. Okay. So, I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about, but a lot of people complain about or are afraid of being salesy. And that's like when people say that to me, people used to say this to me a lot. I haven't actually heard that in a while, but maybe I'll hear it again this week. I get really excited. I'm like, you're totally right. I'm totally in love with sales. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you would think I was salesy. I'm a salesperson. That's what we're doing right now. So for me, that's just like a yes and. But I'm curious, Leah, if there's more there, if that I'm not answering, because if there is, I would love to go deeper into that in another video, if not today. Yes, sales is like good therapy in terms of getting over codependence. Boom, I love that. Not being attached to the outcomes of their choices, and at the same time, being absolutely rigorous about your own commitment to yourself. So if you set a financial goal, you're meeting that financial goal, period, the end. It's just not dependent on any one person, right? They're free to make whatever choices that they want. All right. I love it. People are like, Krishna consciousness is all about sales. Krishna was all about sales. Buddha was in sales. Here's the problem. I see your pain and there's a solution. And here's the path. Totally. Yes, 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 yes. Ah, Tiago, I get it. I get it. So it's scary to reach out to people with the decision that you know what to say. The thing is that when you're in a sales conversation, especially you guys, like you guys are spiritual teachers and healers and coaches, and you facilitate transformation, you are always channeling. Whether you use that language or not, you are always accessing insight and clarity that isn't just coming from you. You're picking up on things from the people that you work with. You're picking up on divine intelligence. You're like accessing the collective consciousness. You're doing all kinds of things. So when I say go into a sales conversation with that confidence that you will always know what to say, part of what I think helps with that is that it's not you that has to know. Spiritual practice is about getting out of the way, right? Like letting the ego take the passenger seat and letting God drive, letting your divine consciousness drive, right? So that's more the mode of what I'm talking about when I answer that question about like how to be confident that you know what to say in a sales conversation. Okay, great question about getting over objections. That is actually going to be the subject of, we're starting to release more videos because that's a big topic. It's such a good question. Short answer is everything that we've talked about so far, right? That you're there to serve and that you are asking the questions to help them get clear about which fork in the road of their life they want to choose. And just helping them be conscious of the decision rather than trying to get them to make one decision or another. Great, 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 great. You guys are freaking awesome. Uninsultable. I love that, Tanya. I'm reading Leela's question. In some healing arts, a rule is not to tell people you could work with them, but that they have to be seeking. Yes. So this will be the last question that I'll answer. Again, just like, I would love to hear your takeaways. Any of the comments that get added that I don't respond to today, we'll respond to either over chat or if you have any follow-up questions, just reach out to our team directly. Like we would love to know you and learn how we can support you better. This question, Leela, I think about as a soul contract, right? That like one of the first teachings that I got as an entrepreneur was that every single person that I met was either a client for now, a client for the future, or a referral. And when I first heard that, it sounded to me just kind of like a strategy, right? Like go into rooms and think about being like, just basically turn every relationship into a transactional one. This doesn't really feel good, right? Especially for us spiritual people, like we want to really connect, not just be there. So I really had to chew on that one because it didn't quite sit right with me, even though it had a lot of possibility in it. And what I found was that the truth, as I said before, we're creeping up on 8 billion people on the planet. And I only know right now there's 26 on this call. I have to trust that the 26 of you are here for a reason, whether I know it or not, whether I initiated or you initiated, whether you heard about me or I like came knocking at your door. And that we're here for a reason and that we're both free to leave at any time. Anytime. And again, this is part of why dismantling the codependency is so valuable, because then you're doing your part to release that. You're doing your part to make sure that you're not unconsciously manipulating or coercing or trying to trap people, right? They're free. Free them. Free everyone to make their own choices. And when you line up with that, then you can really trust that the people that are in your field, the people that are arising to have a conversation with you about working together, want something. They wouldn't be talking to you otherwise. They wouldn't be talking to you otherwise. You guys would not be here if there wasn't some benefit that this teaching has for you. And I trust that. And because I trust that, then I don't get distracted worrying about it, right? That's just another like renouncing of that codependency. So I leave that up to God, really, that God will guide the people that are meant to be in my energetic field to me and send away all that are not meant to be. And I even pray for that, right? Like on the daily, I'm like, set that intention that the people who are meant to be served by me and meant to serve me and my vision will be brought closer in, all that I envision or better, and that the people that are not for me, that they find their support elsewhere, easily, joyfully, gracefully, in alignment. That's my prayer always. All right. So let's just close for just a minute. I want to have just like a quick meditation to like lock this into your body, like seal it. It doesn't have to be locked, but just seal it. So just take a moment if you can and close your eyes. Find some stillness and some quiet. I like to move to find my way into stillness and make noise to find my way into silence. And see the entities that you've met in our conversation today as companions. And they're going to be different for each of you. For some of you, it might be love. For some of you, it might be ease. For some of you, it might be playfulness, confidence, clarity, surrender, devotion. And you're welcome to choose all of those, okay? No scarcity here. But just let yourself feel the entities, the elements, the qualities that you know you want to bring into your business, your life, and specifically into your sales conversations. And feel your own clear intention to bring devotion, love, a sense of curiosity to your relationship to sales. To use sales as a devotional practice, to dismantle your codependency, to show up in service, to master yourself, to get out of your own way so that you can actually show up for other people. And feel the energetic support of the entire universe, all your guides, spirits, and mentors, all of my guides, spirits, and mentors, all of the collective, all rooting for you, cheerleading you, being your champion. You got this. You got this. The clients are here. The money is here. The success is here. The support is here. All that you want is here. We'll be back for live Q&A on the first Wednesday of every month. So come back. If you have not already, please subscribe to the page. Give this video a thumbs up. Spread the word. That's how we build the channel and help more people. And it just means so much when you do refer, when you do like, when you do subscribe. So I really appreciate you guys. We're at over 500 subscribers for the first time, so we're really excited. Let's build from there. And between now and next month, if you have more questions, feel free to email those to info@jessiejohnsoncoaching.com, and we'll actually start to collect questions in advance to focus on in our lives. So you can stay connected that way. Really, really beautiful to be with you guys, and look forward to seeing you next time. Stay tuned.